Hello everyone, this is Ashish Sani from Innovate Yourself. Welcome back to my channel. Once again, I am back with a new video on MQTT. So in this video, I'm going to show you that how you can use the publish and subscribe for your broker, which is your MQTT broker. So basically what exactly we'll be doing in this today's video is you will be controlling two LEDs which is connected externally to your NodeMCU, and also you will connect one sensor, and that sensor is DHT11, which is your temperature and humidity sensor. So we'll read those values and you will upload them onto the server, or basically you will say that you will publish those values from the NodeMCU to the MQTT broker. So this is what exactly we'll be doing to basically control the LEDs from the broker and to publish the values from your NodeMCU to the server, or you can say to the broker. So this is all that we will be covering. Now without wasting much time, let's straightforward go to the coding and the circuit part, and let's understand how to do this. So let's get started. Alright, so now let's start further. So before starting with the coding stuff, let's understand like how to make the connections of your NodeMCU with our sensor, for which we will collect the data and will further subscribe that. So basically in our today's session, we are going to work with the DHT11 sensor, which is your temperature and humidity sensor, for which we'll make the connections in the way it is shown on the screen. So this is the connection that you have to make, and in the similar way, I'll make the connections on the breadboard for now. Right, so what exactly we're going to do with this connection is we'll make the connections in such a way, and after that we'll collect the values for your temperature and humidity both, and both the values will be further published from the NodeMCU, which will be further subscribed on the server side, which is your MQTT broker. So this is what exactly we are gonna do today. So this is the connections. Just have a look and just make the connections as it is. So can you see, this is the connection that we have created on breadboard with the NodeMCU and the DHT11 sensor using the jumpers, and along with that we have used two LEDs which we will also control using this. So this is the connection diagram which we have shown in the image before. Alright, so now we have made the connections of your NodeMCU with the DHT11 sensors and the LEDs successfully. Now it's time to further write the code for this, so that we can get the subscribe thing done, and to further collect the values of your temperature and humidity to further upload it to the broker server. So this is what we will be using now, and for that we already have the code as you can see on the screen. So this is the code which I have already written it for you, so that you can have a better understanding about this. Don't worry about the code, you just need to understand that. I'll attach the link of this code in the description below, so you can check that, and you can get the code directly. But to understand it, I'll explain it and then you can understand that. But before starting, what exactly you have to do is, just because in this session what exactly we are doing is we are just connecting a NodeMCU to the DHT11 sensor, which is your temperature and humidity sensor. So to get the values of your DHT sensor, you need to add a library to your Arduino IDE, so that you can collect those temperature and humidity values and you can further upload them, right? So for that we need a library which is DHT library, and I have that library with me. So you can see the library which I have selected here is DHT sensor library master.zip. So this is the one which we have to add in here. But just because in my case it's already there, so it will show you directly that it is already added. But still, just to demonstrate, I'll go to sketch, include libraries, and I'll go to add zip library, right? So here we have to select like which library I'm talking about. So I'll simply drag and drop it here. So this is the one, I'll just choose this one. So you can see the library name DHT sensor library master already exists, just because it's already there. So that's why it is giving me this option, or you can say it is giving me this warning. But in your case, if you haven't added that, it will show you that library added successfully. So this is the message that you will get, right? So once you have added this library, after that you can get the code done. and basically just because the code you will get separately, but in our case what we have to do is we have to combine the codes. The code which I'm talking about is the one for your DHT sensor to get the values, and second one is the code which we have seen in our last video. If you haven't watched that video, I'll attach the link here in the video. You can go to that video and you can check that. But in there I have already demonstrated like how we can get this publish and subscribe along with the broker, which we will be using today and we have already used in the previous video as well. So we will simply use that, right? So the example which I'm talking about, you can get directly and easily from this examples, and just go down. And for this pub sub client, this was the one MQTT ESP8266, and the one which we are talking about for DHT11, that will be like DHT sensor library. So in this you will be going to this DHT unified sensor. So if you want to understand that separately, you can get this code, but in our case I have already done this for you. I have combined both of them and you can see that, right? So now let's start understanding this code so that you will understand it more clearly, like what exactly we are doing in here. So for that, you can see these are the libraries which I have included in here, which we will be used in here. ESP8266 Wi-Fi for your ESP, or you can say the NodeMCU. Pub sub client for this publish and subscribe along with the broker. So this is the one which we have used in the last video as well. So the next one is this Adafruit sensor library, because this is also the requirement for this. In case this one is required or this one is creating a problem for you, so here we need another library, which is this one Adafruit sensor master. So this is the one which will be needed. So don't worry about this. I'll also attach this one in the link in the description, so you can check that as well. So once you have added them, we can start further with the code. Firstly, we'll define what pin we are going to use in here. Basically, we're gonna use pin number D5 to read the value of your temperature and humidity sensor. So this is what we have defined. After that, here we also can define like what DHT sensor we are gonna use, because DHT11 is not the only one which we can use for finding the value for your temperature and humidity. Instead, we have DHT22, we can have DHT21, so we can use any of them. But in our case, we are using DHT11, so that's why I'm simply typing in here like what's the type of that, right? So this is what we have done. Now after that, using this DHT unified, we are creating an object which is DHT by defining what pin we are using to read the data and what sensor we are using to read the data. So this is what we are defining, right? And in here we are simply declaring one variable just for the time delay, right? Now after that, we are simply gonna define like what SSID and password we are gonna use to connect to the network, because we have already seen in the last video that we are going to connect to the network first of all, right? And what broker we will be using to connect to the server. And here I am writing the topic, that what is that topic which will be used to publish the data. Publish the data means publishing the data from your NodeMCU, because NodeMCU will collect the values for DHT sensor and those values will be sent further using this publish request, right? Or you can say publish topic, right? So for that, we have given a topic name as temp data, in which we will be having the values. Now after that, Wi-Fi client, we're creating an object for that, either pub sub client, we are just initializing that. Now after that, we are creating these variables also, which we have seen in our last video as well, like why we actually need them, right? That we will use on the bottom of this code. We will see that again, right? And this time we have created two more variables, or you can say we have declared two more variables so that they can collect the values for your temperature and humidity separately, right? So this is what we have done. Now after that, just because you know that setup is the first like function which will be called, right? The first one is this. We are defining what pins we are using. D6 and D7 pins we are using, on which we have connected the two LEDs, which we will control as well, because it's not just like that we are only going to upload the data, or you can say we are only going to subscribe the values on the broker side, which will be published from the NodeMCU side. It's not just like that. We are also going to control the pin number D6 and D7 connected to LEDs, so that we can control them. We can turn it on, we can turn it off from the broker side. This is what or you can say this is why we are gonna use this one, right? And after that, dht.begin, we're just beginning the dht sensor just to initialize it, right? Sensor t, we are just creating another object for that, and after that we are just getting that sensor data, right? Like what is the initial values, right? So this is what we have. So humidity values, again we are just adding it to that sensor object, right? So this is it, and we are just initializing that what baud rate we are going to use for the communication, and that is 115.200, so that we can have a communication. Setup.wi-fi, it is just to connect to the server, or you can say it is just to connect to the Wi-Fi network basically. So this is the one in which we have the code already written. That's what we have seen in our last video as well, right? Now after that, client dot set server, we are just setting up like what server we are going to connect to, or you can say to which broker we are going to connect, right? So MQTT server is this one, which is your broker, right? And what is the port number? 1883, as we have discussed in the last video. You can check that if you are not aware about it. And after that, client.set callback. So callback is that another function, right? This is also we have seen in our last video, right? So this is about that, and in this we are simply defining what we will do when we will get the values for this, right? If it is 0, then what we will do. If it is 1, what it will do. Basically we are just defining when we will receive 0, which LED to turn on or to turn off. Similarly for 1, 2 and 3. So this is what exactly we are doing, right? So this is all about that. Now after that, yeah, this one is done. Now after that we come to the loop thing, in which we will continuously keep on reading the data, right? So here, this one we have already seen, like what exactly this is. This is just to connect to the server. If in case we are not connected to that, it will reconnect to that server, right? So this is what it is. Until it is not connected, it will not enter inside, right? So this is what actually happens. So this is client.loop. Now after that, now in here, basically we will see like what to do every 2 seconds. This one we have also seen in a last video, right? So every 2 seconds we will be doing it, but previously it was just a small thing which we were doing, that was just to subscribe and to publish. But this time we also have to do few more things, and that is to read the values for your temperature and humidity. So with this request, or let's say with these commands, what exactly we are doing is, this one is basically first of all for reading the temperature, right? If in case we get the values, and if it is not NaN, or you can say if it is NaN, which is like not a number, right? If we have that value, in that case we'll simply print error reading the temperature. Otherwise it will simply read the values. So whatever is the value, we will read that, and we'll simply store that inside a variable temp, which we have created over here, right? This one. Similarly for the humidity. So this is what we are doing in here, just reading the values for your temperature and humidity. Once we have those two values, after that what we are doing is we are just combining them, or you can say we are just concatenating them as a string, so that we can further send that value, or you can say we can further publish that value to the broker, or you can say to the MQTT server which we are using today, right? So this is what we are doing. This is just for the concatenation of that, right? And finally, once we have get the final message, we are just publishing it, right? So this is what exactly we are doing, and this is how we are getting the value every time, right? So this is all about it, and I hope you have understood it. If you haven't understood it, then I will simply recommend just watch the previous video, because there I have explained it in details. Maybe you're not getting it completely just because of that lag, right? So you can watch that video. So it's all about that. So now, as you have seen, like this is the coding stuff. Now it's time to upload the code and to let's see like how actually it's working, right? So let me connect it to the system, or you can say let me connect my NodeMCU to the system, so that I can see how it's working, right? So as you can see, I have connected my NodeMCU to the system, right? So I have connected that. So this is my system, right? Now, as we are connected to the system, so you can go in tools and just verify that whether you have selected the right board and you have selected the right port. So in my case, both the things are selected properly. Now it's time to upload the code and to see how it's working. Just make sure to put the SSID and password correctly before uploading the code so that you can connect to the network. Alright, so the code is uploaded. Now we can go in the serial monitor just to verify that whether we are connected to the network or not. So you can see it is connected to the network. Now the next thing is that we have to simply open that application again so that we can check that whether it's working or not, right? So let's go to that application again like we have seen in our last video. So you can see that we have the values in here, or you can say our connection is already established, but this time you can see that we are not getting any output for that. And the reason for that is that we are actually not using the same topic in our today's code, and the topics have been changed. First of all, let's go for the subscribe thing, and we have changed the topic name as temp data. So let me go in here and let me subscribe to that topic so that I can get it. So just click on subscribe. So you can see we are getting the data in here, but I think there is a bit issue over there. That's the reason we're not getting any values for it. We'll check that. So along with that, let me first of all mention the published topic as well so that we can get it. So the topic for that is I think it's a device slash LED, I guess. Let me open it up. Just copy that and paste it here. And along with that, you can pass the messages, right? So now let's go back in here and let's see what's happening. In this case, you can do one thing. You can just check your connection, because sometimes connections are loose and because of that it's not working. Like you can see it's working now because maybe my connections were loose. So like now I'll go in here and you can see I'm getting the values 32 and 51, where 31 or 32 is your temperature and 51% is your humidity. So this is the way how we have got that. Now similarly, let's verify our connections, or let's verify that how we are getting the values for your publish. So basically we have mentioned the values for device slash LED in this case. Now if I will pass the value as 0 over here, let's see what's gonna happen. So currently if I'll pass the value as 0, let's click on publish. So currently you can see I'm not getting anything, because maybe in this case the LED should be turned off only, right? So let me pass 1 now and let's publish it. So can you see one of my LEDs turned on? Similarly, now let's pass 2. So you can see my second LED is also turned on. Now let's pass 3. In case of 3, you can see this LED is turned off. Similarly, if I'll click on 0, the LED is turned off. So this is the way how basically we can control our LEDs using this publish and subscribe. Now I hope you have got an idea what exactly you were doing. So that's all from my side for today. Do click on the like button if you have liked this video, and also do subscribe to our channel if you are new to our channel and if you haven't subscribed to our channel yet. Also, you can leave a comment below if you have queries regarding any of the topics taught in the video, or if you have any suggestion for us, feel free to leave a comment below. Also, you can share this video with your friends and family if you want them to get the benefits of this. So that's all from my side for today. Thank you so much for watching.